Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Haribol, Haribol. Welcome to our Jaiva Dharma study session. So we're on the 5th of March, 2024, and we're still in Surabhi Kunj, still trying to get the mercy of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur to share his wonderful Jaiva Dharma. So we'll have a kirtan, play mridanga, and then we'll read our Jaiva Dharma. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai. Oh Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He, Nitai He. Oh Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari. Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He, Gaura He. Oh Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe. Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. Oh Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garangagan Havaka Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Vrishabhanu Nandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotarazara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai 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 Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Gaudi Vedantacharya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhattasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Jai Swarav Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Siga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gaudamdvip Madhudvip Koladvip Ritujit Janadvip Modandvip Rududvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwarasavar Matmika Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kun Shambakun Ganga Jamuna Devi Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shrimati Yoga Maya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai. Ketra Mandal Ki Jai. Sarva Vignath Vinasakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravar Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charidam Ki Jai. Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai. Charya Ki Jai. Akara Mat Raj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai. Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Anantakoda Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samaga Vata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gauda Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Priya Surupe Daita Surupe Prema Surupe Sahajavi Rupe Nijana Rupe Babhuika Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavila Surupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kuranavartino Kalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Savakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundaratu Dikatam Vasadipita Sadahradare Kandare Sparatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Pravajantamanapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravo Binidustam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadita Rangamadye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Vajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Baradram Tato Mamanasti Katyena Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvayivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto our beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again I'm offering to Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Vrayate, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitanam Pavanivyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. It's wonderful that the winter's gone. We have our fan on today, not a regular occurrence. It's fresh. So we're just starting with our Falshruti, and we're up to page 831, the last 4 verses, I believe. Jaiva Dharma Pate Se Shuddha Bhakti Hoy, Jaiva Dharma Na Padile Kabe Bhakti Noy. One who reads Jaiva Dharma. Oh, we've got another copy you can give her. She didn't want one. Another copy? She didn't want one. One who reads Jaiva Dharma with faithful deliberation will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti. But one who does not read Jaiva Dharma can never attain Bhakti. Why does it say one who does not read Jaiva Dharma? Because within the Jaiva Dharma are all Shastra. It's described like the ocean in a jar. There's nothing missing, nothing at all. And right now we've just begun the Dasmula section, and we're discussing the Amnaya, the Praman. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur includes everything, all the Puranas, all the Itihasyas, Srimad Bhagavatam, Gita, the Upanishads, everything is referenced. So this is a compilation. I was listening to one tribute to Prabhupada yesterday by his Sanskrit editor, and he was talking how much Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, glorified this Jaiva Dharma as being the very essence, a compilation of all the essence, and it was something that he wanted to translate because he thought it was so relevant in society today, but time didn't permit. But it was heartwarming to hear his glorification of Jaiva Dharma. How can one not glorify? So if one is averse to reading Jaiva Dharma, what hope does he have to connect with all Shastra? Really and truly, everything is here. But with faithful deliberation, one should read with faithful deliberation. So we're going through very slowly, sentence by sentence. Every sentence is loaded really with meaning and significance. So we're trying to go carefully. Rupanuga abhiman pate drita hoy, jaiva dhamma vimukake dharma hine koi. Faithfully, again, faithfully, reading Jaiva Dharma will surely strengthen one's abhiman as a Rupanuga, follower of Sri Rupa Goswami. One who is averse to reading Jaiva Dharma is certainly devoid of religious principles. This book is so important because it substantiates Mahaprabhu, the avatar for the age, and Rupa Goswami's teachings exclusively, all the way through. This is the potency of this granta. And as we've said many times, this is not penned, or it's penned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but it's directed in his Samadhi Bhasya. This is an eternal scripture, and it's part of Mahaprabhu's mission is to manifest this literature, and part of his mission is for us to read it and to hear about it and talk about it and incorporate it into our lives and to appreciate, especially this Dashamula where we're walking through now, the 9 ontological truths and the Praman supporting all of that. These are like foundational. My Gurudev has said that if someone is familiar with this Dasamula Tattva, they can sit confidently in any assembly on earth with Vaishnavas and present the supreme truth. And if one doesn't accept Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then he doesn't accept this Dashmula. And there are many of the Babaji line, they worship, honor Narottam Das, Jiva Goswami, but then they stop at Narottam Das. They don't continue. They don't accept Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that is to their misfortune, I think. But of course they won't think that, but whatever. But it's such a brilliant compilation. It's tragic not to accept it. And as a Rupanuga, and we've described so many times that Mahaprabhu, he's come to give this Swabhakti Shriyam, service to Unnata Ujjvala Ras. That's what he's come to give. Swabhakti, his own bhakti, Shriyam, the beauty of his own bhakti, in service to Mahaprabhu, who is serving this Unnata Ujjvala Ras. Mahaprabhu is tasting that Unnata Ujjvala Ras. And the conditioned jivas can perform service to that in the form of Manjari Bhav. And Manjari Bhav can only come from a Manjari. So all of our Guru Vargya, they are all Manjaris. Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, Sanatana Goswami, Lavanga Manjari, Jiva Goswami, Vilasa Manjari, Krishnadas Kaviraj, Kasturi Manjari, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vinod Manjari, Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself, Kamala Manjari, all. my Gurudev, Raman Manjari, all are this line. This is what Mahaprabhu has come to give. He hasn't come to give just Shuddha Bhakti. He's come, Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu, they were giving Shuddha Bhakti, but they weren't giving Braja Prem. That wasn't their designated seva. Their designated seva was to flood or Bengal in particular, with the principles of pure bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. And they were directing those personalities to go to the place of Mahaprabhu, to go to the teachings of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu's teachings are capsulated principally by Rupa Goswami. So to have this Abhiman as a Rupanuga is vital if one proclaims himself a follower of Sachinandan Gaurahari. We must be familiar and totally with the teachings of Rupa Goswami, Vidagdha Madhav, Ujjwala Nilamani, Lalit Madhav, etc., Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. All of these books make up the essence of the current that is coming to us through Guru. It's a very important line, this Rupanuga Abhiman. Yava jivane che pade jaiva dharma bhaktiman se jana brita jnana karma. One who faithfully reads Jaiva Dharma throughout his entire life will be endowed with bhakti and will surely realize the futility of gyan and karma. Yes, this gyan and karma go far away when one realizes the pristine beauty and sweetness of Shuddha Bhakti, of Braja Bhakti, or Braja Prem. It goes further than just Bhakti, it's Prem. Mahaprabhu has come to distribute Prem. Krishna came to taste that Prem in Leela Purushottam. That's what he's called. Krishna's called Leela Purushottam. He's experiencing his pastimes in Vrindavan. He's not distributing it. Maybe Uddhav picks up something, that's all. Maybe some Siddha Purushas also. But in principle, this was not distributed in the time of Krishna. It's only unlocked and distributed by Mahaprabhu. And it's just incredible, the fortune that we've received, that we're getting this. Prior to Mahaprabhu, it began, of course, with Madhavendra Puri, was the sprout, but he wasn't extensively crafting that into a mission. He was experiencing that and touching Ishvara Puri and his followers, etc. But Mahaprabhu took it and exploded it in the world as the avatar, the Yuga avatar of this age. I mean, every day to appreciate our fortune. It was only just more than 500 years ago, Mahaprabhu. So it's very, very fresh. These teachings, they haven't been messed around with, interpolated much, actually at all, except from other societies sometimes have chosen to write different things. But in principle, all of our line is very authentic. And this is what we're discussing also in the 13th chapter. This is our fortune, to connect with Mahaprabhu. And this Grantha, this book, is the means to connect directly with Mahaprabhu. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is called the Saptam Goswami, the seventh Goswami. In Vrindavan, there were 6 Goswamis uncovering all the holy places. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was alone. He's like 6 manifestations in one, what he actually did here. All the holy places are, he's manifested here in Goradam. No one else has done it. You read Taranga, what's that, Bhava Taranga, Navadvip Bhav Taranga. And all the places are opened out, Navadvip Mahatmya. And all of the pastime, the Yog Pit, Bhaktivinoda Thakur discovered. All of these places have been uncovered by a single person, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he is supporting all of this with this Jaiva Dharma. So it's such a powerful Shastra. We are in the mission of Mahaprabhu. This is the mission that we all support and are in. Because only he can give this Manjari Bhav through He doesn't give it himself. He's in Sakhi Bhav. He is in the mood of Radhika. But through Rupa Goswami is the person who's giving this, and all the other Guru Varya. So our line is so extraordinary. Krishnera Ramala Seva Labhisenara Seva Sukhamagnara Sada Krishna Para. Such a man, being fully devoted to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugal Kishore, and having attained their Amal Prem Seva, remains forever merged in the bliss of such immaculate, loving service. This is the conclusion. The conclusion, we see that Vijay Kumar, he becomes Nimai Das Babaji at the end, and he's totally floating in the bliss of this Amal Prem Seva through the teachings initially of Raghunath Das Babaji in Navadvip, and then into Puridam under Gopal Guru Goswami. These teachings. So we see the conclusion that he is experiencing this inner connection fully with this Amal Prem Seva in the transcendental realm. So this is, you can't go higher than that. My Gurudev would often comment when he was speaking, he said, there's nothing higher than this. There's nothing beyond this. To connect with our eternal loving service to principally Sri Radhika. Because that's the current that we're in. We're in the current. This is Radhika's line. We know the pastime of Bhaktivinoda Thakur when there was a darkness prior to his advent, prior to him manifesting. And it's described Radharani, she throws her play lotus into this world to continue the strength of this line. So Mahaprabhu is that Gora Shakti. Not Mahaprabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is this Gora Shakti. Kamala means lotus. That's who Bhaktivinoda Thakur is. So when we first started this study, we spoke extensively on the glories of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because to understand the glories of Bhaktivinoda Thakur will help us have these truths revealed more simply, because everything is done with sambandha. If you have a relationship with the personality who is manifesting this scripture of deep honor and deep respect, deep regard, then that makes a channel that he can open these teachings more fully, faithfully, he's saying, within our hearts to appreciate. It's like my Gurudev always said, any bhajan that we chant, the first consideration is from whose heart has it come? And then we consider our connection with that personality. If it's coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if it's coming from Narottam Das, etc., and we have some sambandha with these particular personalities through our prayers and so on, then naturally the deeper meanings are going to manifest more powerfully. We only want realization. We don't want gyan. That's dry, and it's described the thorny thickets of gyan. We want somehow to get that direct experiential realization of these truths. And as we've said many times, this will come through our diligent personal practice and, of course, our embracing Sri Nam. If we are embracing Sri Nam, then that is going to clear the dust from the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The first instruction of Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastikam. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahatavagni Varpanam. So with this practice, then these truths will manifest. We should become hungry. This is the ingredient of Ragmarg. What's that? Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavita Mati Kriyatom Yati Talabhyate Tatra Lolyam Apimulyam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukriti Anadlabhyate. That this lolyam, this greed, this hunger, we're looking, where is that hunger? Where am I really hungry for this pure Braja Prem? Or are there other agendas on my mind? It has to ultimately become ananya, exclusive, and then all success will come. So we're reading this chapter 13. We're on to page 298. And so far, we've come through many significant tattvas and siddhantas. Brajanath is a brilliant personality. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has put him there deliberately to ask all these questions. So we've been reciting the Amnaya Praha Tattvam Harim Iha. So we've already established the Amnaya Praha, the Praman, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur has talked extensively, or Babaji has talked extensively about the various Puranas and the Upanishads and which are beneficial. And he's even answered Brajanath's question about the acharyas in the line to show the authenticity of what he's presenting. If you don't substantiate everything on profound praman, profound authenticity, how is the heart in this mad age of Kali, where everything is defective, everything is falsely presented, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, how are we going to get that faith in these truths? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is extensively showing the fidelity and the authenticity of our line to Brajanath. And then he also explained Krishna Tattva. And first of all, this verse, Vedanti tat tattva vedastatvam yajnanam advayam, Brahmati, Paramatmati, Bhagavaniti Shabhyate. These three principles of Brahman, and then Paramatma, and then Bhagavan, right? So he's been through these three principles in this chapter so far to date. We've already covered the Brahman. We've gone into a depth about the nature of Brahman. Brahman consists of two qualities. Do you remember?
Brahman.
Yes. What are the two qualities? We did in that town of near close to you with Harinamananda for a whole few months.
I was there.
Two qualities, huh?
Two qualities of Brahman.
In Brahman.
In Brahman.
In the Brahman. There are two qualities. Krishna has 6 qualities. And two of those qualities.
You mean, Gyan and Vairagya.
Very good. Thank you. Keep the mind churning. Yes. Gyan and Vairagya are impersonal qualities. They're attributes of qualities. So that makes up the nature of this Brahman, the effulgence of Krishna. In the Brahman, there's no sambandha. There's no one to have sambandha with. It's like Shantaras. Brahmabhuta prasanatmana sochati nakanchati. There's no object of your devotion there. It's the effulgence of Krishna. It's an impersonal aspect. This is the Brahman. So, and then he also describes in this chapter the other 4 qualities. Krishna is the Angi, the beauty. Krishna's beauty is the principal quality in Krishna. If we see Krishna in a dream or in a vision, in a spurti, if we're that fortunate at some point, then it's his beauty that's going to have the deepest impact in us. We see many instances in the Bhagavatam. Dhruva Maharaj, he's seeing Krishna. Who? Queen Kunti, she's staying with Krishna so many times. Mother Yashoda, or Nanda Baba. His beauty, the gopis in particular, his beauty is extraordinary. This is the Angi, this is the principle. And then the Angas, and this is strength, opulence, and fame. These other 3 qualities. But the first quality is beauty, and then fame, strength, and opulence. These other 3. And then the final 2, Gyan and Vairagya, as we've just explained, are of an impersonal nature and make up the Brahmajyoti. So we've discussed this already. We discussed these qualities, and yesterday we were.
If I remember correctly, Gyan and Vairagya attribute of fame.
Excellent. Yes. Correct. Yes. And we were considering how fame. He asked the question, why fame? Fame has these this brilliant effulgence. That's what makes up fame. That's the impression of someone who's famous. They have a huge aura. Krishna is the most famous. He's in the heart of every single living entity. So his fame is the most extraordinary. And that fame, the effulgence of that fame, yes, it's correct what you said.
I also was thinking that it might be that because hearing the glories of Krishna, discussing his fame, his yasha,
Yes.
is what leads to jnana and vairagya.
No, don't get that.
Like, like we say, what is satam prasangam virya samvido? Then to discuss Krishna's glories, this is what will give detachment from vairagya, and it will give transcendental knowledge.
Yes. This tvam padartigyan and tat padartigyan, this transcendental knowledge is acceptable for the bhakta,
Yeah.
but not knowledge of Jiva Brahm Aikya Gyan, not the impersonal knowledge. Yes. And Vairagya is helpful for the devotee, but it's a negative aspect. Renunciation is not a positive aspect, it's a negative aspect. Yes, it's true. So, what did we discuss yesterday? Do you remember? We were discussing again the greatness of Krishna. Mataha paratram nanyet kaschid asti jananjaya. Mayi sarvam idam potram sutre manigana iva. This was the verse that was quoted, that Krishna, all the worlds are hanging on Krishna like a thread. This was one verse that Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then ete kamsa kala pumsam Krishna stu bhagavam swayam. We quoted this verse yesterday also. So all this was indicating the this harim iha, that Krishna is that supreme Lord. Now we're going to stay in that track, and we're going to open out a more personal connection with Krishna now in the rest of these explanations. I think we'll read from page 298, the paragraph before the verse. So, because he was asking about, Rajanath is asked about the limitations. If you restrict Krishna to a medium-sized form, it appears that with form, you can't, a single form can't be all pervasive because it's a single form. How can that be universally pervasive? This is what Brajanath is thinking from a material consideration. And this is what Babaji is going to explain, that you're asking this question from a material perspective of limited by time and space. But the ultimate appreciation is that Krishna is beyond time and space. So this medium-sized form is not a limited form. It's the size of his form in his pastimes. Brajanath is thinking that because he's got a form, that means he must be limited by certain parameters. But Babaji is going to explain. This is where we're up to. So whatever limitations you are inferring about the transcendental medium-sized form are completely unfounded. Formlessness, immutability, and inactivity simply comprise the material conception of what is opposite to our conception of material qualities. Got that? So they are themselves a type of material quality. By the way, I'll mention again, we took this to the University of Oxford and asked them where they would place this in their syllabus. They took it for 5 weeks and studied it seriously. And they came back to us and said, post-PhD. So don't think if you can't understand it straight away that, it takes some focused attention to appreciate these conceptions. But you should know with great faith and confidence, these conceptions are here. And I read them today, and then I'll read them tomorrow, and I'll read them in 12 months' time, and 2 years' time, and 3 years' time, and each time the meaning will become more apparent. It's a continual growth. The last thing I said yesterday is that every time I read this chapter, and I've read it so many times, I feel like I've never read this chapter before in my life. I'm just approaching something completely fresh. This is the nature of transcendental literature. And if you have that appreciation for achintya shakti, which means beyond the grasp of the material and mental conception, it's achintya, it's inconceivable. If you have that appreciation, then it just opens up so beautifully. So we should have this appreciation. If we don't understand it straight away, just be patient. And very often, as I've said before, if there's a question that arises in one paragraph, mysteriously, Bhaktivinoda Thakur answers it in the next paragraph. So many times this happens. Someone asks a question, you can spend half an hour answering the question, then you read the next paragraph, and there's the answer to the question that you asked. So we should read this with patience. Faithful deliberation is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur advises. I'll start again. Whatever limitations you are inferring about the transcendental medium-sized form are completely unfounded. Formlessness, immutability, and inactivity simply comprise the material conception of what is opposite to our conception of material qualities. We think something that is opposite to the material quality is going to be transcendental. It's not. It's still material. So they are themselves a type of material quality. However, Sri Krishna also has qualities that are of an altogether different nature. For example, his beautiful, blossoming, smiling face, his lotus eyes, his beautiful lotus feet, which bestow fearlessness and peace upon his bhaktas, and his spiritual form, which is the pure embodiment of transcendence, with limbs and body just suitable for varieties of playful sports. The medium-sized Sri Vigraha, that is the very basis of these two types of qualities, form and all-pervasiveness, is supremely pleasing. The Narada Pancharatra describes his extreme attractiveness to the mind, and this description is replete with all Siddhantas. Nirdosh guna vigraha atma tantro nishchetanatmaka sharira gunaschahina ananda matra karapada mukodaradi sarvatra savatrascha svargata veda vivyarjitam vijatama jitama. Sri Krishna's transcendental body is composed of eternity, consciousness, and bliss, without even a scent of material qualities. He is not subject to material time or space. On the contrary, he exists fully at all places and in all times simultaneously. His form and existence are the embodiment of absolute non-duality, Advaya Gyan Swarup Vastu. We have to become totally humble to even begin our approach, understanding that we know nothing. As soon as we retain some sort of semblance of, well, I'm pretty knowledgeable, I know this and that, it creates a restriction. To be wide open to entertain these conceptions, Mahaprabhu hasn't just written this verse, Trinada piece, or spoken this verse for just the practicing sadhak, but for our comprehension. Everything hinges on that mood. Like Mahaprabhu says, Na prem gando sti darpi me haro. I don't have an even scent of prem for Krishna and Radha. He's saying that. He's Krishna. He's demonstrating that. So the sadhak studying this must also appreciate this point. And then his horizon will be completely open like a child. And then these conceptions can be appreciated. Direction space is an unlimited entity in the material world. By material estimation, only a formless object can be unlimited or all-pervading, right? Only a formless object can be everywhere. Like the sky has no form, so we think that's can be everywhere. An entity with a medium-sized form cannot. If the entity actually has a form, he can't be completely all-pervasive like a formless form can be. However, this conception only applies in the material world. In the spiritual world, all objects and their intrinsic natures and attributes are unlimited. So Sri Krishna's medium-sized form is also all-pervading. Medium-sized objects in this material world do not have this quality of all-pervasiveness, but it is charmingly manifest in Sri Krishna's medium-sized Vigraha. In other words, the enormity of the distinction between the jiva's conditioned vision and the reality of the spiritual world is being substantiated here. You understand? Again and again and again and again we have to hear this, Because in this material world, what makes up the mentality of the conditioned souls is pride and envy. We're spinning around in these conceptions all the time. That has to be purified. That is the supramundane glory of his transcendental Vigraha. Can such glorious attributes be found in the conception of the all-pervading Brahm? The all-pervading Brahm doesn't have these conceptions. Material substances are always limited by time and place. If an entity who is naturally beyond the effects of time is compared to the all-pervading sky, which is limited by time and space, then is not that entity beyond the influence of time incomparably greater? You understand? You understand, Gokul?
Yeah.
Explain. What do you understand?
Well, that we already see so much greatness.
Everyone else can hear you.
We see so much greatness in this world, and we see the unlimited sky. So if there's an object that is not only has that quality of unlimitedness, but at the same time is comprised of these charming qualities as Sri Krishna,
Beautiful.
isn't that so much more greater?
Yes. Very nice. Very good. Clear. Thank you. Thank you. Every person, if I ask every person to make an explanation on it, everyone will have a different perspective and vision. It's very helpful to hear because these are not easy topics, and every individual has a different perspective or receptivity to the truth and comprehension according to their adhikar, according to their sanskar and sukriti and so on. So each person will have a different appreciation of this understanding, even though the truth is one here. It's a singular truth, but still there's varieties of conception of that truth. So we must be cautious and make sure we come into the non-speculative track. Sri Krishna's Brajdam is none other than the Brahmapura, which is mentioned within the Chandogya Upanishad. This Brajadam is a completely transcendental reality and is comprised of all types of transcendental variety. Everything in that place, the earth, water, rivers, mountains, trees, creepers, animals, birds, sky, sun, moon, and constellations, is transcendental and is devoid of material flaws or shortcomings. Conscious pleasure is present always and everywhere in its fullest form. My dear son, this Mayapur Navadvip is that self-same spiritual abode. You are unable to perceive it, however, because you are bound in Maya's snare. But when, by the mercy of saints and sadhus, spiritual consciousness arises in your heart, you will then perceive this land as the spiritual Dham, and then only will you achieve the perfection of Brajavas, residence in Braj. So to see this Mayapur Dham as completely non-different from Vrindavan Dham, that is when we begin to connect sincerely, in great attachment to Gaur Sundar Mahaprabhu and all his pastimes here. The pastimes in Puri Dham are actually of an Aishwarya mood. Puri Dham is considered like Dwarka. Navadvip is Gupta Vrindavan. It's non-different to Vrindavan. And the Ras Leela is performed in Srivasangam internally by Mahaprabhu's congregational chanting of the holy name. That is the Sankirtan Ras. So for one whole year, just like for one whole year, Krishna performed his Ras Leela in Braj. For one whole year here, he performs his Ras Leela in Shivasangam. So there's no difference at all between this Navadvip Dham and Vrindavan Dham. But there is Vaishishtya, there is speciality. Because in Vrindavan Dham, if we as sadhaks live in Vrindavan Dham, there's a price, so to speak, that if we commit any offenses, it can be very severe reaction. Whereas in Goradam, the offenses are not considered. It's even described that sleeping, Mahaprabhu will accept as offering obeisances, just lying on the ground. But don't take advantage of this, obviously. Don't think that it's loose or anything of that nature. Don't become flippant. Actually become more respectful. That Mahaprabhu is so munificent, so generous. It's saying that in Krishna Lila, Yayata Mam Prapadyante, as you surrender, that there's a condition. You surrender and I will fill your pot. But in Gora Lila, Mahaprabhu has the pot for you even if you don't have a pot. And he will fill it without any condition. So how can we realize this? By staying here many days and by meditating deeply on the lotus feet of Sachinandan Gaurahari, or Nimai Pandit, and all the pastimes in Gauradam, by meditating on these pastimes, by praying, by taking the dust, by begging those local sadhus that you have respect for to give you their kripa, by visiting the holy places and remembering Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Where are we? Oh, where are we? I've lost some place.
300. Next page.
300, yes. At the top?
Yeah.
Who, that's why I couldn't find the place. Who has told you that there must be material merits and faults? Who has told you that there must be material merits and faults wherever there is medium-sized form? You cannot realize the actual glories of the transcendental medium-sized form as long as your intelligence is bound up in material impressions. So that's the same throughout all of these Dasamula instructions. If we try to utilize our material logic and rationality, there's been a whole explanation of this previously. If we try to depend on our material knowledge, etc., which is what we're trained to do from birth, right? We're put in the schools. And if you don't pass the various exams, you're delegated to the lower rungs, so to speak. Everything is like, you're encouraged to use your material intelligence. Now, all of a sudden, that has no value in estimating these spiritual realities. Because always consider day by day by day this mood of achintya bhav. Achintya bhav is the bhava that a child has. A child is always in absolute astonishment of everything that it sees. It's described one of the greater qualities of a Vaishnava is his simplicity. That simple acceptance of the ultimate reality. And just with wonder appreciating Krishna in every atom, Krishna in the Ganga, Krishna in the Yog Pit, Krishna in Shiva Sangam, Krishna amongst all the devotees, Krishna in the Harinam, the holy name, the sound vibration. Rajanath, no intelligent person can have any doubts about this point. However, I would like to know when, where, and how Krishna's spiritual Vigraha, Dham, and Leela are manifested within material limitations. Again, he's dropping into his material consciousness. He's thinking, for example, Vrindavan Dham is what he sees with his eyes, and he's relating it to his material consciousness. You understand? Shabrani. Since Sri Radha and Krishna's Vigraha and bodily complexion. Oh, did I say something wrong? Within material limitations, since Sri Radha Krishna's Vigraha and bodily complexion and their Leelas, associates, houses, pastime groves, forests, secondary forests, and all the objects in the spiritual world are transcendental. So how can this transcendental Dham be manifested here? How can I appreciate that? Is that the question? That's the question I'm understanding.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, and I understand. Like, how does something unlimited manifest in a limited realm?
Very good. How does something unlimited manifest in a limited realm? Nicely put, Gokul. I'm glad you're here. You should come often. Nice, nice. Babaji, Sri Krishna possesses all potencies, so even that which appears to be impossible is actually possible for him. What is astonishing in this? He is the all-potent personality, Sarva Shaktiman Purush, the fully independent supreme controller who is completely autocratic and imbued with Leela. Simply by his desire, he can appear in this material world in his self-same spiritual form, along with his spiritual abode. How can there be any doubt about this? It's the acceptance. This Amnaya, this Dasmula Sutra that we're discussing, first of all, it was grounding the Praman. But now, Iha Paramam Iham. This is now describing the nature directly of Krishna. This is what we're describing now. This is what we're opening up. This is the prameya that we're hearing, that Krishna is that supreme beyond the material cognition, and his holy Dham is non-different to him. This is the prameya. Krishna is that supreme personality. Brajanath, by his desire, he can do everything, and he can manifest his purely spiritual form in this material world. That much is clear. However, materialistic people tend to think that Sri Krishna's own transcendental abode that is manifest here is simply a part of this material universe, and they perceive his Braja Leela to be just like ordinary Mayic activities. Why is this? Why can't worldly people see Krishna's self-manifest spiritual form as Satchit Ananda when he mercifully appears in this world of birth and death? Good question.
Yes.
Babaji, one of Krishna's unlimited transcendental qualities is his Bhakta Vatsalya, his affection for his bhaktas. Because of this quality, his heart melts, and through his Hladini Shakti, he bestows upon his bhaktas a type of spiritual potency that enables them to have direct darshan of his self-manifest form and his transcendental pastimes. However, the non-devotee's eyes, ears, and other senses are made up of Maya, and they can see no difference between Bhagavan's spiritual pastimes and the mundane events in human history. That's pretty clear. Pretty clear. Brajanath. Then does this mean that Bhagavan Shri Krishna did not descend to bestow mercy upon all jivas? He did in a different way. Babaji, we've actually almost reached our time. Bhagavan certainly descends to benefit the whole world. The Bhaktas see his descent and Leela as transcendental, whereas the non-devotees perceive them as ordinary human affairs, which take place under the influence of material principles. Even so, these Leelas have the power to bestow a type of spiritual merit, Sukriti, and as this Sukriti gradually accumulates, one is nourished so that one develops one-pointed Shraddha towards Krishna's bhakti, towards Krishna bhakti. That is why Bhagavan's descent certainly benefits all the jivas in the universe, because jivas who possess such Shraddha and perform Ananya Bhakti Sadhan, unalloyed devotional service, will one day be able to see Bhagavan's transcendental form and Leela. It's a process. It's a process, first of all, of appreciating the Supreme Lord was here, and gradually, by our self-purification, through our engaging in careful sadhan and bhajan, etc., then our vision will be cleared. What's that? Chintamani prakarasatma sakalpa viksha. That gradually, no, there's another one. What's that one? Prem, the salve of love. Huh? No, no, no. This in the Brahma Samhita verses. Louder. Okay. But that beautiful verse, Premanjana charita bhaktis pralokchanena, this verse, the eyes of Prem will become anointed with the salve um, of mercy to see the pure transcendental realm. Okay, we'll do one more question and then we're going to stop because it's actually our time is over. Brajanath, why is Krishna Leela not distinctly described throughout the Vedas? That's the question. The pastimes of Sri Krishna are described here and there in the Vedas, but in some places they are described directly and in other places indirectly. So we'll discuss this tomorrow. Krishna is Leela Purushottam, as I said in the very beginning. He's come to enjoy his Leela. He hasn't come to distribute his Leela. He's come pranityanaya sadhunam vinashayata dusrakam. He's come to kill the demons. He's come to relieve Mother Earth of the burden of the warring armies, etc. This is why he's come. And he's come to nourish the bhaktas, the devotees. But he's not like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to distribute prem. That's not why he's come. He's come to actually taste his own prem, his Leela pastime, he's Leela Purushottam. He's enjoying with the gopis, enjoying with the Brijbasis. This is Krishna's pastime. Mahaprabhu has come to distribute prem specifically and to taste that prem himself of Sri Radhika. And in tasting Radhika's prem, he's distributing that service to Sri Radhika, Radha Dasyam. It's a wonderful appreciation of who is Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is the key. Without his mercy, we won't understand this. We can't move forward. It's all hinging on his mercy. That's why coming to Goradam is so profound for the welfare of the soul, to get the influence of Mahaprabhu's Kripa. Sachinandan Gaurahari ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol. Gold Premanande, Hari Hari. The reason why we chant the three Mahamantras at the end is my Gurudev explained at the beginning. When we chant the invocation verses, you open the doors to the consciousness. And when you finish the conclusion of the pravachan, you have to close the doors to keep it in. So you have to chant the Mahamantra again to close the doors. But we do it for time's sake, just in the three, like that. That's the reason why we do that. So Srila Gurudev ki jai, Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Vaishnavas ki jai, Anantakoda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gold Premanande, Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubevicha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namaha.